Hello and welcome to Where the Living Room Used to Be, a podcast about Rhode Island's music scene. The show at the Parlour that was Tara's birthday, was Nick's birthday, but I had you and it was basically like Nick. Like Nick's every band.
It was Nick's. Well, that was
Ravi Shavi and the Quahogs.
That was the last time we played with Nick.
Yeah,
and he died
like special
a week later.
Like it sold out before.
It sold out at 8:17.
Wow.
We went to capacity. Now the Parlour is a small place, so you'd say, yeah, okay, you filled it, but
it's still.
The fact is, we had a line out the door.
Yeah.
And we sold it out continuously the whole night. Mm-hmm. The amount of money we made at that door was incredible. He said he's never paid anybody this much money before, and I believe him. It was exceptional. So it must have when people,
Parlour, yeah.
Like, because we went on first. I definitely wanted to go on first because I really wanted to have fun that night. I wanted to party my ass off.
Yeah.
And all the bands, like you have. All the bands, we had one band that was from out of town.
Yeah,
we were gonna trade a show with them.
Yeah.
You know, we were gonna play Boston. We had them down. They were called the Chops.
Yeah, the Chops, yeah.
And they were great kids, you know. So we went on. Nick was sick. He finally decided to tell everybody that he had cancer. And it was like a little bit of lung cancer, a spot of lung cancer. And he wasn't going to go for treatment in November, and then he decided that he was going to get treated and he was going to fight for life and he was going to work, which was, great news. And we were really supporting that. And, we were probably going to find an interim drummer, like a lot of his bands were. I mean, he was going to be out for a while.
Yeah.
So, we played and it was so packed and, like local shows, the sound wasn't great, but we had a great turnout and we put on a good show. And then the Chops
these
played
lights as well too, so you kind of like redecorated.
It's still decorated that way.
But it was just a very.
She put up the purple lights. Visually, it was cool. I have photos that are like wild from that night. That other people had taken.
Yeah. And
sent to me. You couldn't move. You know what? When I got done playing, I literally hugged my way to the door. It was so insane. It was like, it was like snake sex or something. It was like, it was just so interwoven and so many friends and people. And it was just lovely. And we had cake and we had, Nick played 3 sets.
Yeah.
3 sets. That was what, Quahogs, Ravi Shavi.
Yeah.
Us. It's pretty much the same lineup after 8. That we had that night. Mm-hmm. And none of us knew how sick Nick was.
Oh, okay.
And when Nick played, that took a lot out of him. But yeah, place was sold out. Nick's like falling down in the kitchen, vomiting blood and shit in between the sets.
Whoa.
And he's starting his, and then he played the next night with the Sants.
The Sants, yeah.
And then he started his treatment the day after,
Okay.
So that was an accomplishment. That show is amazingly epic, and that was probably going to put us all in a very good position to move forward and keep that momentum going. In a week later, he passed, Mm-hmm. And it's hard because everybody was dying of like fentanyl back then, and there was a lot of people that speculated drugs, but the fact was, it was 4 a.m, and after a week of treatment, his lung collapsed.
Oh, wow.
And his lungs, he couldn't breathe. And it was being 4 a.m, the ambulance didn't get there on time, and he literally suffocated in his mother's arms. And, it sucks, because the kid was a physical specimen. He was in good shape.
Yeah.
He had a lot of years ahead of him and a lot of good drumming ahead of him, Mm-hmm. I think the scene has definitely suffered since his loss. I remember So I withdraw every now and then. You know, I'll get into work or something. I'll have a lot of nights out in town. I'll party my face off with everybody. I'll do what I have to do. You know, you got to promote your band. You got to. It's a little wear and tear on you.
Yeah.
And him and he was mad at me at one point. He was like, "You're not going out enough anymore. You're not doing." I'm like, "That's right, Nick. I'm not." And I started freaking out. I'm like, "I got 2 kids, dude. I got a wife. You know, sometimes she don't like me. I got to do this. I got to do that. I'm freaking out. And I just got this job, and you know, I had an accident. All this stuff, and I'm like, you need to go out. If you have a problem with me not being there, you need to be me. It's like you go out there and do it." And that kid went with that, and the people that have come up to me and talked to me about, you know, the changes in their lives that he's made, and the respect that they have for him, and all the sweet things, it's like, I know Nick, and I know what a curmudgeon he was sometimes, and it's just, it makes me smile. It makes me so warm that he really put himself out there, and he went beyond his comfort zone to love our scene the way he did. And he definitely was out there. He was definitely part of everybody's life. I mean, every time he turned around, he was over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You want to smoke a joint?" or something. You know what I mean? He was like, he had those pinners.
Yeah.
He was, it was just gold. It's gold being with him, you know? And that was, I'll remember that night for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I had talked to him one time after that show, you know? Just to ask him, like, "How you doing, buddy?" And I sent him a video of Big John. I had a video of Big John in the hospital, and this is like this is before he went into his, like, you know, organ failure stuff and whatnot. He was like sitting in the hospital, and he's, you know, "I'm so fucking high," you know, in the camera, and he's like, "I smell bacon," and then he turns the phone, and there's cops at the fucking thing, and he just looks back, and he's like, "Ah." It's just great. And I sent him that video. It made him laugh, and he's like, you know, "I miss him, and, you know, I'm doing all right. This stuff sucks," he said. "The treatment sucks, but I'm gonna do it." And yeah, and then 2 days later, he was gone, which I couldn't fucking believe it. It was a Tuesday, you know. Al Diaz was trying to get a hold of me, and I, you know, I'm friends with Al, but he's never like called me or like hit me up. I mean, we've spent a lot of time together, but just not like that. And I answered, and he told me, and I was just like, "Fuck, dude," you know. And that's another. That night we went back to the Parlour, and Gregory, God bless his soul, just locked the door. Well, he left it open, but it was only for Nick friends and people. And we all met, like most of his bands, everybody, we were all down there. We were smoking out the place. Like, Greg didn't give a fuck. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
We were just all allowed to grieve. I mean, my whole band was there. We sat where Nick parked his drums, and we just, you know, we just went off and missed the kid a lot, you know? So those 2 scenes were probably, you know, pivotal moments, you know, crying with everybody and being there as, like, you know, this supportive, you know, we were supporting everybody and they were supporting us, and it was great. So that, from that big show to that one night of closure or whatever it was, you know, suffering, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have, I mean, he was probably there with us, you know?
And demons have all flown south to a call from one so proud. We can't all be proud, no, not right now. doors to fight our wars against the tired and scorned, the sad and the poor. Some are born to sing, some are born to win. Humility my prize, 2 coins for my eyes. There's no savior in 2020. Die for a stranger like you and me. You and me. That life of the plager. When it's said and done, there's only life to wager. Show your best in your darkest hour. They have no secret, they have no power over you. Don't be sad, don't be mad. It was yours before it was theirs. You can take it back. More, the more you invest. Do what you love, never mind the rest. 'Cause they'll do their worst anyway. Show your best, show your best in your darkest hour. They have no secret, they have no power over you. Don't get sad, please don't be mad. It was yours before it was theirs. You can take it back. It was yours before it was theirs. You can take it back.